lesson on art supplies. I know that at first art supplies can seem intimidating. There's so many choices, there's so many things when you go to the art supply store, and a lot of it is going to be trial and error. When I started, all I had were the primary paint colors, red, yellow, blue, and I had black and white for mixing. I had brushes, water, and a surface. So that's literally all you need to get started. But I'm going to show you kind of like what I use now after trying a bunch of supplies and then kind of whittling it back down to what I absolutely love. I'm going to show you a lot of options of each thing, and you can make your own choice on what you would like to purchase and get started with. But just know you can start small. You don't have to have all the things right away. It took me years to kind of get all this stuff built up. So start with whatever you'd like, and pay attention to what inspires you, what colors inspire you, what objects are inspiring, and just kind of follow your own intuition with it. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to talk about is surfaces. So there's a few choices on surfaces that you can use. There are canvases. There's anywhere from sort of the low end of canvas, like the value pack that you can get like at a Michael's. You can get like 5 or more for like $9.99. And when I started out, that's what I used because I didn't want them to feel precious. So I would buy a bunch of the cheap end. I would buy watercolor paper, things that I didn't worry that it had to go somewhere or I was wasting money. So that's a great option to start out. They have different levels there where you can start with like the student grade, and then you can move up to the artist grade, and then you can move up to the professional grade. And you can just take your time on like moving up on those. So don't worry about the quality of the canvas right when you're getting started. Just get something and get going with it. I also really like wood panels. So I'm going to show you some of those options right now. So this is like the academic level. It's number 1, and then it goes up to like 2 and 3 is the professional level. And there's different widths on the end here on the side. So when I started out, I was just using a lot of these, and I still kind of play around with these. Right now I'm like kind of discovering, like I'm in a discovery phase, so I'm not wanting to be too precious, so I'm not wanting to get the really big thick edged canvas right now because I'm just playing. I'm finding like the playing and the joy back in my art making right now, so I'm literally buying and using these ones. And then I just have a variety of sizes. When I started out, I would just use like 8 by 10, 11 by 14, 8 by 8, 10 by 10, small. I started small. And over the years, I worked up to very large. Like this one behind me is the professional artist grade 36 by 48. So 3 feet by 4 feet. It's huge. The canvas is amazing to touch. It has a big thick edge on it. It's very heavy. But those can be expensive and intimidating to start out with. So don't worry at all when you're starting out. Start small, get the jumbo pack, value pack. You can get it at Michael's. They have a coupon, or a lot of times they have like all canvases are half off right now, and that's always when I go and get a bunch, like all at once. You can also buy like bundles on Amazon, stuff like that. So I'm also going to show you now some wood panels. So these are really great. Also when you're starting out, there's like 4 of them in here. So like these are great. They have also different edges on them, like either a really thick one or a thinner one. Oh, there's actually 5 in here. These are 12 by 12. So these are great. I think I got these on Amazon. And you can just paint right on them. And they're really great because you can just hang them up as is, like just like this. You don't need anything special, and they look really cool, and they're just fun to play around on. So I really recommend these when you're getting started. Another thing I have here is watercolor paper. This is, let's see, 9 by 12, and it's a 140 pound. And so these are really great too when you're just starting out, because they're really nice and thick, so they hold liquid well, but you can just kind of experiment and play around without feeling like, you know, you're wasting money, like I said again, or just wasting canvas. You know, you can just use paper. And so I love to have these around. Again, I'm playing around right now, and so that's why I have kind of these things that I have when I was starting out, because I'm trying new colors, new styles, just having fun with it. Another thing I don't think I have, I might have in a box, but I used to use aqua boards. So that's another thing. It's like a thin board that you can practice on, and it's really good for using like acrylic inks. When they're wet and you put like acrylic inks, they spread around really nicely. So you can also try aqua board. So surfaces are the first thing you need. And that's about it in terms of surfaces. Of course, let me know if you have any questions. And so the next thing you obviously need is paint. So let's move on to paint. I have a lot of different kinds. I like to play in low end and high end because I do so many layers on my paintings that I don't always have to have like the best of the best. I usually use like the really good stuff maybe in like a top layer, but I have fun with colors and I want all the colors. So I have a variety of brands that I use. So I'll talk about those now. So basically, one brand I use a lot is Liquitex Basics acrylics. And these can also be on sale sometime at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, where they're having like half off. Recently they were, and I got like a ton new colors. And so Liquitex Basics, I think these are really good, like middle of the road. They're not too cheap or anything like that. They hold up well. So I do recommend these. Another one I have is Artist Loft. That's also like a Michael's brand. And these are pretty good too. I mean, they're not like that different from these. I think they're a little less expensive because they're the store brand. What else do I have here? So I have Liquitex Professional, which is like the higher end of this one. And I have a few of these that I got recently. Just for what I want, you know, I don't have to have like all of the colors of these. I just like to have like a little bit of that like just buttery goodness, that really like strong pigment when I really want to like add in details, especially gold. Like their gold is really good. A new brand I'm trying out is Winsor & Newton Galleria, and I just got a bunch of these, like just wanted to try out some new colors. So I have these, and then I will buy, when I'm at Target, I will buy their craft paint. So these are like $2, $1.75, something like that. Sometimes I'll just do like a whole order of like a huge array of them, like online. You have to spend like $35 and then you get free shipping, but you can buy like almost every color they have. So it's really great when you're just in the mood for color and you just want to try out like all the colors and not have to necessarily mix all of your colors, because when you're intuitive painting, you want to be able to grab in the moment, like, ooh, I want an orange, ooh, I want mustard, like I want chartreuse or navy or whatever, and you don't want to have to like stop and like mix every color. Especially where I live, it's really hot and dry, and even in like the winter, it's cold and dry, and things dry up really fast. So like I'll have paint like on the palette and then I'll go to use it like a few minutes later and it's already drying up. So if you don't want to have to mix, these are a great option when you're getting started. So what else do I have? I guess this is the same. No, okay. Daler Rowney System 3. I have these. These are good. I think I have Amsterdam, another brand. And Okay, well, this is like its own thing, but this is my golden heavy-bodied titanium white. This is like my holy grail. So I can have like, you know, medium to lower end paints, like, you know, on everything else. And these are pretty, I mean, they're still good quality, but like when it comes to finishing the top layer, I use this a lot to smooth out the final layer. It'll cover anything up. It's really thick and nice, and it lasts forever. Like, I just take a little bit out each time with like a palette knife. When I'm painting, I put a little bit on my palette, and I mean, this just has so many wonderful uses that I consider it a staple. I also love to mix it with acrylic inks. It makes them like pastel and thick and buttery and delicious. So like, highly recommend this. It's just hands down like way better than just like this white. I mean, it's pretty much the only white that I use. It's amazing, definitely worth the splurge. And like, as you get better in your practice, like, you'll realize like how valuable having this is. And so I think that's all the painting brands. I have some sort of like random, like little metallics also. This is a liquid pearls. I don't know. I got these like at Hobby Lobby. And then I have one more here that is folk art brushed metal, also like a bronze. So I like to throw metallics in once in a while. But yeah, that's a really good like overview of all the acrylic paint. Next, would say is not a must, but like if you can get a few of these are amazing. And these are acrylic inks. So these are super fun when you are beginning a painting and you want to just like put some drips on the canvas. If you want to spray with water and then it kind of goes all over. They are stronger. Like, sometimes I use them right out of the bottle and use like the lid as like kind of as a paintbrush, and just kind of, you know, when I want like a strong mark, especially the black, if I want like something really deep. You can dip a paintbrush in them and paint with them as well. You can lay a canvas flat and put water on and just make drips, and it'll just like go out. And so it's really great in layering to use these. And I have like a whole box of like all kind of colors. The brands for these are Bombay, Dr. P.H. Martin Bombay. I have F&W, Daler Rowney, and then I think I have some Amsterdam. And of course, I'll link all of this like below, but those are great. So another thing that I enjoy using in my layers are acrylic paint pens. So I have basically Poscas and Sharpies. And so they're really great when you just want to like do a scribble, you want to maybe do a drawing over the top of a layer, something like that. They need to be water-based. And yeah, so I highly recommend getting those. And what else we have here? Oh, much used, oil pastels. So oil pastels are really great because they create like a different kind of texture in a layer. You know, the oil is kind of going against the water in an acrylic, and so it's like, it creates a different sort of tension in a painting. And obviously they're kind of chalky and sort of almost like milky in the texture. You really want like to get some that are very like buttery, which these are. I don't know, this doesn't have a lid on it, but I don't know what the brand is, but a set of oil pastels is really great in mark making. And let's see here. I guess let's move on to brushes. So I have like a huge thing of brushes. They're not precious. I don't spend a lot of money on them. As long as the hairs aren't falling out, then that's all that matters to me. Like, they don't have to be, you know, high end by any means, especially when you're starting out. A lot of the time, in fact, I use foam brushes in varying sizes. And when I'm first starting a layer and I want to kind of smooth something around, when I'm finishing and I really want it to be like precise and delicate, I use these for a ton of things. They're amazing. You can obviously just get like a whole set of them. Let's see, what other kind of brushes? So I have like ones that are taller and ones that are like small and pointed, and just, you know, tons of different shapes. Angled, flat, round, filbert, fan brush. I really love a fan brush. So yeah, just try out like different shapes that appeal to you. You know, you can just get like a value pack that's like a variety pack that has sort of a bunch of different shapes when you're getting started. Start with that and some foam brushes and you're good to go. You don't really need a ton else. I even have like a big one, like kind of hardware style. And you'll see all of this when you're at the art supply store. Like, there's just a bunch of options. So just whatever you feel drawn to. I have like these big round sponges, different kind of mark making tools, like a brayer. This one like does lines. Palette knives, which I love, like spreading the gold and white with, like, because it's so buttery, like spreading it, creating texture. This one's more of like a sharp sort of mark. Let's see, this is like a silicone sort of flat mark making tool. And you can just spread the paint across with it. They also have some that are like textured with like a comb here, and those make a really nice mark too. So, you know, just having a variety of things to make marks with is great. So just getting maybe some brushes, some foam brushes, a couple different mark making tools, and that's like all you really need to get started. Okay, so of course, you need like a water container. I usually have like a couple going because when I paint, I just kind of get like really messy with it. And so I have these two little tin mugs that I got in the mountains one time, and I just like love these. So I fill them both up and use those for my paint water. And this is very important, a spray bottle. These are great for when you put like ink down and then you want to like spray it and get kind of like an effect, or even just spray the canvas down first and then drip the ink and see where it goes with the water. Also, like sometimes if I have an area where like it's not dry yet and I just don't really like where it's going, I'll just like spray it all off and it all falls down, and it's great. Like, you can kind of then go back over it. Which also brings me to what I'm looking at now, which is a huge drop cloth that's under my easel. And that's like from Home Depot if you want, you know, depending on where you're gonna have your art space. I have it like folded over twice. This is like a small like one-car garage, so it is my art studio, so it's not horrible if paint gets on the ground, but I like to have it down anyway. So that's a great thing to have. Let's see, another tool that I just absolutely adore. Let me see if I have any in here. Yeah, charcoal. I love the effect of like rubbing charcoal across a layer. This is a charcoal stick. You can also get like a charcoal pencil, and those are just beautiful. I love charcoal on a canvas. With some creamy white golden acrylic. It's amazing. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything. I have everything sort of written down. We did surfaces, acrylic paint, white paint, inks, pastels, charcoal, paint pens, foam brushes, paintbrushes, mark making tools, spray bottle, water cups. Oh, okay, a couple more. So paint palettes. You can use a lot of different things for a paint palette. So these are my little ones, but you can use like this kind of thing. You can use like a tray. This is like literally a frozen dinner tray. You can use that. There's palette paper you can buy that's like a pad of paper that you can use. I use paper plates because I don't really want to have to stick in the little like, you know, round areas, and then I can spread it around. So I just keep a stack of paper plates and I reuse them, and yeah, that's what I love to do. Okay, so another thing that I use a lot of, especially like I said, when I'm like spraying water and then like I need to either wipe up, depending on where I'm at, if I need to like wipe up the floor, or maybe my easel is getting like a ton of water on it and like watery ink is just dripping everywhere. I use these also if I want to like blot an area on the painting, or if I've sprayed a bunch off and I want to like dry it. Always have plenty of paper towels laying around. Same can be used like in the same way. You can use like an old rag, which is something that I use a lot. So I have that. Sometimes too, even the like texture on the rag or on the paper towel can make like a cool design in your layers. So we've got that, and then finally, this is what I varnish my paintings with. So when I am finished with the painting, I will let it dry, obviously, and then I will paint the edges with usually this. Just let me show you what the edges look like when they're not painted. Okay, so like paint can drip all on the edges, you know, all over. There can be like a ton, especially on like a thick one. So what I will do is I will paint the edges with white using a foam brush. If it's thick, like a thick edge, I'll paint it very gently with the white, usually a couple coats to cover it. Sometimes if I have to be really precise, which is like kind of the last layer of painting the edges, I'll use a really flat, precise brush to make sure that I'm not going onto the surface of the painting. I also, sometimes, depending on the painting, I might use like this, like a dark navy, like if it's a darker painting and I don't want to, you know, it to have white edges, I want it to have like darker edges, I might use like a dark navy. Another thing you could do if you know how to use this is like a gold leaf. You can put gold leaf around the edges and that looks really nice too. So basically you have to paint the edges when you're done with the painting. You don't have to, I do. You can also tape them off prior to starting. Like if you're using maybe a wood board and you want just that like plain wood on the side, you can just tape it off with like some painter's tape. That's another thing if you don't want to have to paint your edges. Also, some people just paint the painting on the side, like they're painting the painting and then they'll keep going all along the edges, but that's just not something I do. So basically once the edges are done, however you choose to do them, let it dry, everything, and then I take this usually out like outside because you don't want to breathe it, but maybe on the grass, or sometimes it'll leave a mark like on concrete. So I would recommend like doing it on grass. You can put a tarp down, something like that, and then do a nice, make sure you shake it really well, and then you do like a nice layer. You don't want to concentrate it too much in one area, you want to get it all over, and then you want to do it a couple times just to make sure that you're really getting like the layer done, and then you want to let it dry and air out for a while. You definitely don't want to like ship it off to somebody like that day and put like bubble wrap over it because it's still like going to be sticky and have a smell to it. So you want to let it air out as much as possible before you would like ship it somewhere or hang it up or something like that. But this works great. It's Krylon Kamar varnish. So I've used this for years and it's the only one I really use and I have no problems with it. I think that is about it. I don't think we have anything else. So that concludes our lesson in art supplies. And let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything else you've heard about that you want to try out, or if there's something I would recommend over something else. Feel free to ask me your questions and good luck.